Jesus speaks to the rich young man. It is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven. This person goes on to say, Matthew 19:16, Mark 10:17, Luke 18:18. So important that it is in all three Gospels. Since it is physically impossible for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle, and that it is easier, I think it's safe to say that almost no rich person will be in heaven. You can serve God or money, but not both. Living a life or service does not make anyone wealthy, because in order to serve, you must give. If you give what you earn/have, then you are by definition not accumulating wealth. If you are not accumulating wealth, then you will never become rich to begin with. You cannot accumulate wealth and serve God at the same time. Accumulation of wealth is proof of one's unwillingness to serve God and his children. The more wealth you have, the further someone is from God. God does not give or reward us with money or power. Satan uses it to test our willingness to serve God. If you have money or power, then you are not serving God, but Satan. One of Satan's great deceptions is assuming God gave you wealth to keep, or that the wealthy are the most loved by God. Simply reading the Bible will unveil his deceptions. If you truly love God, would you be willing to sell all your possessions and give the profits to the poor, as Jesus commanded this rich man? I think they mean young man. If not, then you love money more than God, and you are in violation of the first and greatest commandment. Interesting take, you know? What would you tell this person? Do you agree? Do you think that it's impossible to accumulate wealth and serve God? It's kind of interesting. Please take a moment, comment down below. I want to not agree with it, you know? That's my initial, just honestly, I want to not agree with it, because you can do so much good with wealth. But maybe that's the twist, is that maybe it's not about the hoarding, you know? Maybe you can get money and then like give it back, kind of way, you know, like do things for your family and people in need, you know, like put together like charitable events and stuff like that with your money, because that would be kind of like an amazing thing. I've always thought of money as being like an amplifier. If someone's a good person, they can do great things with money. If someone's morally, kind of negative person, they can do negative things with their money. It kind of just depends on the individual, I've always felt. But really, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Is it impossible to live a great, like, God-serving life as a wealthy person? And what's the definition of like rich, you know? Like, is that if you make more than $1 million a year, if you make more than $10 million a year, if you make more than 500,000? It's kind of hard to say in today's age, because you have people that are making so much money that it kind of, should I feel bad if I, start, if my art career, if I start selling my paintings? Anyway, I'm not worried about this too much. This person says, I would like to add the following from Luke chapter 12, verse 13 through 21. Someone in the crowd said to him, Teacher, tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me. Jesus replied, Man, who appointed me a judge or an arbiter between you? Then he said to them, Watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions. And he told them this parable. The ground of a certain rich man yielded an abundant harvest. He thought to himself, What shall I do? I have no place to store my crops. Then he said, This is what I'll do. I will tear down my barns and build bigger ones, and there I will store my surplus grain. And I'll say to myself, You have plenty of grain laid up for many years. Take life easy, eat, drink, be merry. But God said to him, You fool, this very night your life will be demanded from you. Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself? This is how it will be when whoever stores up things for themselves but is not rich toward God. The Bible is clear on hoarding wealth. So I guess it could be about hoarding, because I feel like at times we get amazing blessings from God, but it's what we do with those blessings, I guess, that really matters more. Like if you're the type of person that gets something that's amazing, say you get a feast of grain and you share it with a bunch of people, then maybe in some ways that's, permissible, and you will, this person says the love of money is the root of all evil. I could see that. It's just hard because for me, like I'm an expecting father. My wife is pregnant, and I feel like I'm really trying to provide for them. And so I feel like God wants me to provide for him too, but I guess I'm not hoarding money, I guess is the main difference. I'm just trying to get enough to like, pay the rent and feed my family. I guess that's, I'm not I'm not in this category, I guess. But at the same time, it's tough because you can, I think we all kind of fall into this category of, wanting to move up in life, buy a house. Oh, in today's economy, that's like asking a lot. You kind of have to be rich to buy a house, and it's just like, I guess the main thing would be not putting it above God, like serving God first and foremost, and not being intent on hoarding wealth, but I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this one, if I'm being honest. I know like the Bible explicitly says these things, but as just someone who's like looking to take care of their family, it seems, I don't know, maybe they're talking about the billionaires, maybe they're not worried about us lowly artists who are trying to afford our rent, Okay. This person says the Bible also says we are to judge not as the world judges, love of money, but with the righteous judgment. As Jesus looked at the very wealthy entitled ones, so should we. I guess so. I mean, I've always been under the assumption that there's so much more to life than finances. And even when I've had like some financial success, I realized it was just a number on my screen going up. Like you log into your bank account and the number's a little bit bigger than it was. And it's not even a lot. You just finally aren't broke. You finally aren't $0 in the bank account. You have a little bit of something, but it really doesn't add any, true fulfillment in your heart to see a number on a screen go up. It's very like artificial feeling, whereas like the best experience, the real fulfillment I've had has been traveling with my family. It's been building a family, getting married. Like I said, we're about to have our first child. Like those things really make me feel wealthy, is when I'm, like lying in bed with my wife and I have my dog and they're just cuddled up so sweet next to me. I feel wealthy comparatively to the times when, I've seen an influx in my finances, for sure. So maybe that's what it's all about. But as always, I want to hear what you guys have to say. What am I missing here? I feel like I'm missing a little bit of it. Is it just because I'm so far from the category of rich that I'm still striving to, like even, become successful in a way, but I don't know. Is it just like a bad compass to follow? I feel like in balance, it's not necessarily a bad thing because you want to provide for your family, right? It's like, I feel like that's a pretty noble thing to do. I don't feel like a bad person by wanting to be able to, like afford just the bare necessities for my family. I don't feel like that's like a wrong path to want to go down, but maybe it's when you put it above other qualities, like above serving God, and you start, dwelling in the category of greed, because I've never been greedy. Like, honestly, I've always been, whenever I get like any kind of little bit of success, I'm very quick to try to like, just take my family out to dinner and just spread it around. And like, I'm not known for hoarding money. I feel like this isn't a good look, but at the same time, let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think? What's been your experience in this issue? Hope you're having a great day, a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next video.